Hey guys, how you doing today? Man, the days have been getting away from me recently, so I think I'm gonna do my dishes. It's been a while since I've done this, where I've done my dishes and done one of these videos at the same time. But yeah, I feel like if I don't do this today, if I don't actually do this today, it's just not gonna the video's not gonna happen. I missed yesterday, so here I go. Today was the last day before we head into lockdown, right? We are all uh, uh, and I mean, it's not really a lockdown. Like, I feel like in Manitoba, they're being a bit more honest about it. They're calling it Code Red, right? We're not going into lockdown. Like, lockdown implies, like, no one's allowed to leave their house except for, like, the most serious of reasons, right? Get food, so basic supplies, these sorts of things. I mean, my toy store is still, like, it's not, customers aren't allowed in, but you can still go pick toys up, right? My store's open. Walmart will still be open, right? Like, I think there's the phrase, the term itself, lockdown, has is being misused. I don't want to say I don't want to commit to the idea that it's being purposefully used, because I do think that the Ford administration is really dumb. Like, they're really, really dumb group of people. Um, so I can see how they would be like, how they would say, like, it's a lockdown, just to, like, really emphasize things without actually thinking of the consequences or whether or not that's even true. I also, like, why why in the hell are you announcing a lockdown of any sort right before the weekend? Like, that's a real consumerist mindset right there. Announcing that we're going to go into a lockdown, the purpose of which, the point of a lockdown, is to try to quell and help the system recover from a pandemic, right? And you tell people right before the peak shopping moment, which is the weekend, oh, by the way, on Monday everything's gonna be locked down, so you better go out now when you've got the free time. Get your shit right now, right? Like, people extended their hours. People knew, like, we knew. I called in every staff member I had to deal with the ridiculous influx of people we were going to have. And it is a busy day. And it's a busy day all over, man. Like, some stores, like Toys R Us, apparently stayed open till midnight today, right? Like, expecting there to be, like, a real demand for that kind of thing, given the timing of the announcement. And I'm like, these guys could have announced this on Monday. They could have said on Monday, yeah, we're going to go into lockdown starting Wednesday, right? And that would have, like, people still would have had the same kind of, oh, we got to go out and get our stuff. But just simply the fact that they're at work, like, they have other responsibilities, all this kind of stuff, would have lessened this. And it just, again, it shows you that the Ford administration isn't actually all that interested in public health, right? They're interested in this kind of consumerist mindset. That's where they're at. That's where their brain is as consumers. They're not really acting as in the interests of public health. They're just responding, like, it is getting to the point now where they have to respond simply from optics, right? Simply from just like, oh, if our numbers get up, like, the medical community was starting to say things like, yeah, we could get to like 6,000 cases a day, right? And if the conservatives got to that, and I've said this before, right? If the conservatives get to those sorts of numbers, they'll never be elected again in this province. It'll be like another 20 years. I actually think they're already at that threshold. Like, the Doug Ford conservatives are already at a point now where they've convinced everybody that they should not have power. They're completely untrustworthy. The way that they look at the province is as exploiters, right? As sort of like neo colonizers in a way. Like, they just, everything is a commodity to be exploited, and that's how they treat everything. And I think a lot of people are looking at that and being like, ooh, yeah, that's really shitty. So if the NDP are starting to grind up the gears and starting to feel like, I think they are starting to feel the heat, that people are looking at them and saying like, hey man, like, hey Andrea Horwath, again, I say this to you again, Andrea Horwath. If you can't beat Doug Ford and an empty seat that has the word liberal on it, you should resign. Like, seriously. You're not helping anyone. You're not helping your party if you can't beat Doug Ford and an empty seat that says liberal on it. I'm very, very concerned about the NDP and their chances, man. And honestly, it really is just like the NDP's problem. The NDP's problem generally is that they're more inclusive than the population, right? Like, let's face it, guys, Canadians are fairly sexist and fairly racist, right? Like, they are. Like, we look at issues of systemic race and we look at these sorts of things and we go, oh, well. It's like, I tell this joke from time to time. When we found out about Justin Trudeau's blackface scandal, we all went, oh, that's racist. And then we took a look to the right at the Conservatives and went, that's racist. And so then we took a look over to the left and asked, what's with the turban? Like, we're not there yet. We're not ready. Like, I feel like one of my major critiques of Andrea Horwath is that she's so tepid in her tone and in her presentation of who she is as a person. But the problem is, and this has been pointed out to me, and I actually think it's quite true, the problem is that if she actually was to start carrying the tone that I would like her to carry, well, people will just dismiss her as a crazy woman, right? Crazy woman. Just acting up, right? Because Canadians are relatively sexist. Like, I shouldn't even say relatively sexist. Like, we like to pretend, like, we look at Americans and we go, oh, wow, at least we're not as bad as them. But we are, right? It's just that American media is much more shameless in its presentation of its own citizenry, right? We have people who are just as, like, gun nut-ish and just as thick and just as ridiculous. We just don't have reality TV shows about them, right? Like, there's no, like, Honey Boo Boo in Canada. Like, we haven't created, like, Honey Boo Boo Canada, but Honey Boo Boo exists in Canada, dude. Like, for real. And to me, this is the major hill that the NDP are going to have to climb, right? That they are aligning themselves and they are making correct choices in terms of their policies and in terms of who they are, in terms of that kind of thing. But they have this sort of basic, fundamental, rudimentary problem, which is that they are seeking to represent a community that doesn't want to be represented by people wearing turbans or women. Really. Like, really. Like, unless, you can talk about it all you want and create, like, a liberal caucus all you want, but, like, people want nice cars and they want that sort of stability that the liberals promise but don't actually deliver on. And the real question for me coming into these next elections is, are people going to be willing to see past their own personal prejudices, their bigotries and their racists and their racism? That seems to be more endemic than we like to believe, and actually vote based on policy, right? Actually vote based on the promise of some kind of meaningful change in their country that most people want to see. Like, let's not mess around here, right? Like, I've said it before, even amongst conservatives, people want to see a wealth tax, right? Let's just talk about that. People want to see a wealth tax, even amongst conservatives, right? Well, there's two parties putting that forward. Neither of them are liberal or conservative, right? And so is the populace going to actually look at that and be like, and say, we're going to vote based on our policies, or are we going to vote based on like this kind of culture of celebrity that's the last leg that the Liberals have, right? Like Trudeau gets into office because he has the name of a former prime minister, right? He's the son of a former prime minister. That is what happened there. And the populace was kind of divided on whether or not it was going to jump towards the NDP, who had a new leader themselves, a new unknown leader, Tom Mulcair, or this kind of familiar hug of a pretty boy son. And now I think that might be waning, finally. I think finally people are now like, But if someone like Tom Mulcair was the leader of the NDP right now, I'd be like, here we go, right? Here we go. Like, people are going to go like, oh yeah, we had a chance to vote someone like Tom Mulcair in, but we jumped towards Trudeau, and now we're realizing like 8 years later, kind of a waste of time. Like, Trudeau's been a complete like dud as a prime minister. And so now let's jump to the NDP. But when they turn over and when they take a look at who the NDP is now, here's this guy with a big beard, right? Here's this guy with a turban. Strange looking fella, right? As far as they're concerned. And I mean, I'll vote NDP, right? I'll vote NDP. But do I trust that the Canadian people will? No, not really. Not really. We like to pretend like we're less racist, but I think that pretending that we're less racist than Americans is this like odd little smokescreen that we've created for ourselves, right? This like way for us to act on kind of an Americanized bigotry that like we're better than those Americans. Yes, take a look, right? And then we just sweep our own history of slavery and genocide just under the rug. We just sweep it away and pretend like it doesn't exist. And then go, haha, we're so much better. Haha. People are tired of the Liberals, though. People are tired of all of this. I know I'm tired of it. I'm tired of all this bullshit, man. Like, my expectations have gotten so ridiculously low in the political class that if somebody stood up and if a politician stood up and said, vote for me, I'll abolish the daylight savings time, I would vote for them. Because it's some kind of change that improves my life in any kind of way, right? Every politician who's ever been in power has, like, I think the only thing that any politician in my lifetime has done of any merit or value was to raise the minimum wage to $15 here in Ontario. Then that was Kathleen Wynne, and she got voted out for it. Like, not for that, but she got voted out after she did it. And I mean, I think people saw it as a cynical move, because I think it was a cynical move. I think that she did that as a desperate bid to try and woo voters, woo a specific type of voter to her side. And that specific type of voter basically said, why was it such a huge fight? Why did we literally have to threaten your job to get something that's so rational, right? And so she didn't gain support by doing that. She maybe saved face, but she didn't gain support because of how absurdly, like, how much we really had to twist her to actually get her to do something that's logical, like perfectly reasonable. It's completely rational. Crash bang. You're not doing dishes if you don't drop something. It's completely irrational to raise the minimum wage to a living wage, like just from a basic economic standpoint, right? Like, how do people pay for the things that you are selling if their wage is not high enough to pay for the things you are selling? It's extremely basic. It's extremely basic. The hack propagandists who pretend to be economists and come out against the minimum wage are basically illiterate. Like, and their arguments are so, like, babyish and childish that it requires like a fundamental misunderstanding of what an economy is to actually believe that having a high minimum wage is bad, right? Or literally you have to have this view that says that like we should be able to commodify children and throw them into mines, like that kind of thinking, right? You got guys like Peter Schiff like literally saying out loud on national television that we'll be able to exploit the mentally handicapped less, that sort of thing. Like we're in this sort of absolutely absurd period of time. And like I really do think like the populace is starting to say like, how come our political class is not actually doing anything? How come our politicians like they're talking a big game, right? And then they get in and they just don't do anything. They literally they're not acting. They're not doing anything. Like the Trudeau administration has literally done nothing in its time in office. Like I remember I saw someone had written their representative asking them like why didn't the Liberals actually go along with the raise of the wealth tax, and the answer was this like complete confession that the Liberals don't care about things like pharmacare. They said that like in the bill the NDP had put forward, it was like we're gonna have a wealth tax to pay for things like pharmacare, and it's like, oh, so you don't actually care about pharmacare, which you've been promising for like 20 years. You're not actually interested in that because here was a chance to vote with it, and you just didn't. And then you go on to say stuff like, we didn't feel like the bill was structured well enough. It's like, well, then you put forward the bill that you think is structured well enough. Oh, you won't because you do nothing, right? And that's Liberals. They don't do anything. And it's because the corporate state has, like, corporations own this place, right? Corporate power runs Canada, and that's the way they want it. They don't want to change that. They don't want to change anything. They don't want to improve your lives. They want you to go to work, right? And they want the conservatives and the Liberals work together in order to achieve this, in order to maintain it. They're not interested in improving your life, like not in any meaningful measure. And I mean, I've said it before, right? They will create an incredibly diverse group of people who tell you to get back to work. So, and I don't know, we deserve it. Like, we deserve it. It'd be extremely simple to completely and radically alter the political landscape of our country. It would be completely easy to do, but we're so caught up, first of all, listening to these corporate hacks. Like, any news organization that is owned by a billionaire or has billionaire stake shareholders should be just regarded as complete and total utter trash, right? Like, and the fact that it isn't, the fact that places like the National Post still have some kind of like credibility is astounding. Like it's completely stunning to me that anybody like would give a crap about what somebody like Conrad Black thinks, right? Like that the fact that there's a news organization, the National Post, that actually publishes what Conrad Black says, like that by itself, should completely discredit the National Post. Conrad Black he's just like a worthless boil on the asshole of Canada, and yet he still gets like a national stage every time he wants to vomit out his like insane bigotry. I don't understand why we need to listen. to him at all for any reason. So there it is, man. There it is. And fundamentally, we are the issue, right? Fundamentally, we are the issue. Like, we could just not vote conservative. Just not vote conservative or liberal. That would be it. That would be the end of it. We could just stop voting for these people who are obviously, and this is the thing, is that it's now getting obvious that conservatives and liberals are there to betray you. That's their role in the political sphere. Like, they're not interested in improving your lives. They're not interested in doing any of that. And yet we still just gullibly go along with absolute asinine trash. And it really is getting to the point where, like, it won't matter how much evidence you have. It won't matter what's in front of you. Like, it's like the only time Canadians will actually accept that the politician that they're gullibly supporting is actually going to betray them is after they're elected and then they get betrayed. Like anyone who is voting for anyone who is voting conservative, who's voting for O'Toole, after he outright came out and said his intention is to privatize the Canadian healthcare system. What the fuck are you doing? Like, what the fuck? Do you not believe him? Like, do you not believe him when he comes out and says, I want to make your system worse? Like, I want to make your system fundamentally worse. And he's going to... So if you don't believe him, why do you support him? It's a very confusing time to be an elector. And what we really need now, in my view, to get anything done, to get any movement whatsoever, is to start clearing house. Like, the people who are currently in office, certainly the conservatives, certainly the liberals, should just not be there anymore. Like, I don't know why we are dead set on supporting them, but we are. And it's annoying. It's deeply, deeply annoying that we are just continuously and gullibly going along with this conservative liberal narrative that is designed to just keep us working and keep us backsliding away from any kind of progressive ideas or thought. And it would be as simple as checking any other box than liberal and conservative, like anything else. But we just can't seem to bring ourselves to do it. And we're so caught in absurdity and nonsense that we refuse to see the truth. Anyway, guys, this is the end of me. Good luck out there. Goddamn, we're going to need it. Like, share, subscribe. Keep on keeping on. Hit all the buttons, hit all the bells, hit all the whistles. I love you all out there. Good luck.